I only have a 16 by 16 square. Anything outside doesn't count. Let's make a super simple one chunk villager trading hall, and the villagers will come from that lot over the back there. Villager trading is a way to unlock so many different items in Minecraft Survival that not to do it can seriously hamper your growth in the game. Clever use of villagers can accelerate how quickly you can build, fight and progress. So our one chunk 16 by 16 square is ready. I can't go over those blue wall blocks. That would be outside of my chunk and it's not allowed. Now the way you make this is going to be very personal to you. So I'm not going to give you the inventory for the entire thing, but for each villager pod, you are going to need a sticky piston, a chest, 2 slabs, 2 trapdoors, 1 workstation, whatever it is you want to trade with, 5 fences, although 4 is enough really, and 1 pressure plate. Let's crack on with it. So let's draw out the template. And this is the layout that we're going to use, where we've got the spruce logs and that stone brick. That is going to be the outside and will be cosmetic. We've got cobblestone there, that's going to be the entrance. Where we've got spruce planks, that's going to be a workstation. Orange wall is going to be fencing. Black wall, that's going to be a pressure plate. Lime green wall there, that's going to be a sticky piston. Brown wall, that is going to be a chest. Let's crack on with it. Now, for the sake of speed and this tutorial, I am going to be doing it in creative, but it is super simple to do this in survival. There's not much complication to it whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a floor, and that floor is going to be textured using oak log that's stripped and oak planks, and then I'm going to place all the blocks I've just mentioned in the template in here as well. So we've come up 1 level, we've indented our floor. We've not placed anything else in because I wanted to show you. We're just going to texture up this outside first because we don't want it to just be really flat stone bricks. We want something a little bit more interesting to look at. And once we've got that first layer of wall in, we're going to place 2 gates across the front there. That's going to keep things in. And on our spots right here, we're going to start to place our workstations. I'm going to use this entire side here to be librarians because they're really useful. And on the other side, I'm just going to randomly put in a few workstations that I think might be useful for me moving forward. So cartography table, blast furnace, maybe a smithing, maybe I'll stick in another blast furnace just over here, and maybe on here I'll stick in another librarian. It's entirely up to you what workstations you put in, what's going to be best for what you want to trade. So modify this bit completely to your needs. We're then going to place a slab on top of each of these sticky pistons, not a whole block, just a slab, because that's all we need. And then on the inside of that slab, what we're going to do is going to place a pressure plate next to each and every one of them. And what that means is when a villager walks over the slab, and they'll have to walk over the slab to get in, I'll show you how in a moment, that will trigger that pressure plate, which means that the entire system goes up and traps them in. I'll show you what I mean. Up it goes and they can't get out anymore. And yes, you are right, they can just walk out the side, but we're going to fix that now. And the first step is to increase the height of the wall with this stone and this cobble. Except this time we've made some gaps for windows that we've used glass panes for, although you could also use fence posts if you'd rather it look a little bit more rustic and medieval. And then we're going to increase the height of the fences inside, so they need to come out 2 on each and every one. So far it should look like this. Next up, we are placing a trapdoor on top of each and every one of these workstations. Even if it's a window, you've got to make sure you've got a trapdoor across the top of the workstation like this, and you can do that on both sides. And then we're going to place a row of slabs across the top of that second fence post, all the way from one side to the other inside the wall, and again do that on both sides. That's going to create the trap that we hold our villager in. And then to finish off the holding pens, you are going to place a trapdoor on the top of the fence post, so not on there, literally on the fence itself. If you go up too high, then the villager can move across. We don't want that. You want to be able to stop the villager from moving underneath. They are 2 blocks tall, and as a result they can't walk under this trapdoor. And if you feel a little bit weird about window positioning, either move them or take them out. You don't have to have them, they're just aesthetic. And at this point, you have a choice. You can either decide to just have a single floor, in which case we're going to top this off with a roof and everything, or if you'd really like to, you can put on a second level. Now, I am going to put on the second level, but if you're only doing 1 level, just do what I do at the end of second level on top of the first level. And that way you'll have a much shorter building and it'll be finished early with fewer resources. That makes total sense, right? Yeah, of course it does. Let's crack on. And no matter what choice you make, you've got to come up 1 more level with your stone, your cobblestone, and also your wood. And at this point, I quite like to use upside down stairs over the windows, and especially over the doors sideways to give a more interesting shape. And you'll notice that our single slab here is on the bottom edge of this row. So we need one more row so we have a free area to add more blocks. Just like that, so we can make a whole nother row of blocks. And it's important to use blocks, not top slabs. It's really common to use top slabs for a floor on an upstairs, but it doesn't work with this design. It's got to be a solid block. And also, don't forget, intersperse it a little bit with the odd stripped block as well, just to make it look more interesting. So it looks just like that, but we're going to leave a 2x8 strip right down the middle, because this is where we're going to place our stairway to get down. Place 2 steps there, invert and come this way, place 2 steps there, invert and come this way, and so on until you get yourself all the way to the floor. And that will allow you to come up and down into your other area. And then on this level, you have to repeat what you did on the lower level, except this time we're going to transition in some stone in with the cobble, so as we change the texture as we go up the building. But everything else is the same. Bring in those fences, bring in those workstations, place in your pressure plates, and then your sticky pistons, making sure you place them so they're facing upwards, and a slab on top of each of the pistons. Now, some people may not like the texture that gives on the bottom, but I actually really do quite like it. In fact, I'm going to make a feature of it, and I'm going to put 2 lamps there, and on the end here I'm going to put 2 lamps right next to the row. That gives enough light across the entirety of the bottom level too. And on this next level of wall, we can exclude that cobblestone. It's not needed on this one. So your trading hall should keep on growing from this to this to this to this to this, and eventually to this. And all that's left in terms of the structure before we decorate it is to put a roof on. But because of the limitations of the chunk, we do have a limitation on what we can physically do with that. So don't judge me. We're going to take this up one more level to increase this all the way here, and we're going to take more stone, except I'm going to increase the amount of actual stone that we've got on here, so as there's more stone than there is stone bricks, which I think gives some nice gradient as we go up the building. And what we're going to do now, and I'm kind of making this up as I go along, I'm going to come out 2 blocks on each side. I'm going to repeat that on each side, and then I'm going to place spruce stairs there, and also underneath there and there. I'm then going to place 2 spruce slabs there, 2 spruce slabs there, and I'm going to get the trap door. I'm going to place trap door there, 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 and there, and I'm going to have that on all of the sides. I'm then going to fill in this upstairs bit with slabs. This time slabs are absolutely fine. And now I've got to work out how I'm going to put a roof on it. Because I can't come over the edges here like that, that's not allowed. I can only go up from this block right here, which means I've got to be a little bit more creative. So I'm going to pop 1 of these blocks on each corner. Now, this isn't what I'd really want to do. I'd really want to be able to give a decent extra bit over the edge, but I can't. So I've got to go with what I can. And then I'm going to place a slab in each corner right there. And then on this one, we're going to try and create some kind of gable. And that gable is going to come off as a result of a step there. That wasn't very good placement. A step there. A slab coming off of that step there. We're then going to come up another slab there. And then another step, which we need to bring in a bit of a false block there. So again, make a false block there and bring in another step like that. Get rid of those 2 blocks. Place slab there. Those 2, slab there and slab there, and get rid of those 2. So we've got a really shallow gable. We couldn't have a too steep a gable because then the sticky up bit would look really odd. So we'll keep a shallow gable like that. We'll copy that on the other side, and we'll bring it across this side so it is in line with that gable right there. However, if you wanted to make a more pointy gable, you go for your life. And if you're not restricted by the chunk, then go out and create yourself a wider roof on the entire thing. I am restricted by the chunk because that's what I described it as, so I can't cheat. You could have this as a storage area up here perhaps. I don't know, it's entirely up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on and I'm going to line this all the way across here using shift click across the trapdoors, so as I've got a long straight straight roof. This is also the same level, so that's going to be straight as well. And I'm going to carry that on right the way over the top and back down the other side. So that flat gable gives me an open roof area like that. And inside, I'm just going to place a couple of lamps to stop any spawns happening. And then where it fits, I'm going to place one of these stripped oak blocks. I can't do it on the first one because that's not tall enough. But I'm going to place stripped oak all the way along there. And in those center two, I'm going to do that on both sides. And I'm also going to fill in the edges with a single slab, which should fill those up fine. And then on the inside of this gap, I'm going to place another slab there, just so we've not got anything kind of open and sticking out, which gives us something that looks like that, which is horrific, and we need to decorate it up a bit. So we're going to add some decoration in within the confines of our boundary. We're going to put some upside down steps there just to break up that straight line. That's just too straight and edgy. We're going to put upside down steps under each of the windows. Make sure they're upside down. That'll act as a window ledge. On these ones here, we're going to get at the top there, we're going to place some 3 trapdoors, which means that we can put 2 steps like that, and 3 trapdoors, grab fences like that. That gives us kind of a support for those. But on the top, we've not got that. We've not got the room. So up here, we're going to place a trapdoor that side, a trapdoor that side, and then a trapdoor either side of both of those. That works much better. So we've got starting of a little bit of a area. So we want to get here perhaps a campfire. If we put a campfire on the top there and there and there and there, we'll put those out in just a moment. And then we're going to place some fence posts there and there, and underneath the fence post we're going to place a lantern. And then just using a spade, we'll turn those off just with a right click. We can then put in some pots, maybe there and there, and if we place a pot inside that pot, that means we can put something inside there. Let's try an oak sapling going inside that and inside that. We can then place a pot on that one, a pot on that one, a pot on both of those, and a lantern on there and on there, and that gives us some light on that front side. And then we can start to place other things inside these pots. Now maybe we could use a bit of a red mushroom on that one and on that one, and put some other stuff in the others. I'm also going to place a trapdoor there and a trapdoor there, and similarly on this side, a trapdoor there and a trapdoor there, and I'm going to place a stone button between them and the top there like that, just to give a little bit of a change of texture. I can't put them on here because that would be outside my boundary, but you could. We can even add in some leaves to act as bushes. And let's repeat similar decoration around all 3 other sides. And then finally, I'm just going to put a fence post on each of these corners just to bring off the edge of that point. It's a little bit square. I don't want to make it pointy. Oh, missed a bit there. Let's fill that in. Missed a bit there. Let's fill that in as well. Goodness me. Lucky I flew past that bit. And then inside, add yourself a little bit extra decoration. And also this is quite functional. It speeds up how quickly the villagers go in. Pop a fence post between each of those on both sides. And obviously put in any extra chests or any pots or anything else like that you might like. And now all that's left is to bring in the villagers, and they should self-populate. You shouldn't have to do very much at all. But what I do recommend with any temporary block you like, just block off the stairs. Don't let them anywhere near the stairs, otherwise they'll try and get up to the top level before they come into the bottom level, and you don't want that. So come along to your nearest village and try and get one of these fellas in a boat, which isn't always the easiest thing to do because all they want to do is go inside. But I promise you, you will get one in. And sometimes you'll get 2 in. Then all you need to do is attach your lead to the front and drag them back to your trading hall. Come on fellas, got a new home for you. And obviously if you've only got 1 villager in there, you can row it home yourself. And just bring your villager close to the front of your building. And then break the boat. They'll walk straight inside and take one of those pods. And just keep repeating that process until you got the whole place filled. And be really careful to bring them in one at a time. It just avoids any problems. And once the bottom is full, take out those temporary blocks and just repeat the process for the upstairs. Just do exactly the same. They'll find their way up the stairs and choose whatever profession it is they want. And before you know it, you'll have an entire villager trading station full up top and bottom ready to make trades with. Maybe you could incorporate the villager breeder that I did a little while ago and just bring them in from there. Endless supply of villagers, that one. But Avomance, what if I want to re-roll my trades? I don't want channeling. Channeling's rubbish. So just take this pop out, get rid of that. That can come in. You can replace it. He'll pick it up again, and this time we got feather falling free, which frankly for someone like me is really useful because I fall over everything. You don't even have to put that fence post back if you don't want to, they're stuck. So there you have a fully functional one chunk villager trading hall. Really easy to put together. You don't have to make it fancy. You could literally make this out of glass if you wanted to, and then you could see right through it. If there are any other one chunk farms or things that you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments below. It'd be absolutely brilliant to hear from you. Also, whilst you're down there, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.